biases that people are prone to, one of the most prevalent is optimism bias. We typically assume that things are going to turn out better than they do, and we overestimate the control that we as individuals have over events.
It's widespread, and it's one of the things that you really need to guard yourself against as an investor. Both your own optimism, but also other people being optimistic with your money is also a thing that can really trip you up and lose you a lot of money. Even people going to casinos, where it's not very much dependent on your own skills, have this optimism that they're going to beat the odds of the casino. That's why you'd go playing, right? And of course it comes out not to be true. Same in the financial markets. So that's just something we have, and it's actually the hardest thing to learn is not to be optimistic. It's really difficult. It takes actually a lot of time and a lot of experience, and there are very few investors out there who have this cool realism that will make you successful as an investor.
Overcoming optimism bias is not easy, but, says Bent Flubier, there are two important things we can do to minimize its negative impact.
The first thing is to realize that you do have it. You have optimism bias, so we are all biased. So the first thing is to realize I'm biased, and then take it from there. And of course, if you're biased, you need to be de-biased. So you need to de-bias your decisions. And that's actually possible. Just telling people about what the empirical data are regarding the decision that they're making will make them less biased. It will not eliminate the bias. It doesn't go to zero, but it'll eliminate 30 to 50% of the bias.
But, says Professor Flubier, there's a more effective way to tackle optimism bias. And that's to keep the number of subjective decisions we make as investors to an absolute minimum.
The real secret to getting bias out is not to make subjective decisions. You basically want to make decisions that are more or less automatic. So instead of trying to time the market, you'll say, like, if you are investing and say, I'm going to invest every 3 months on a specific date, I'm going to invest whatever I have at that moment, I'm investing. And if you do it like that, every 3 months you're investing, you'll do better than if you try to save up your funds and figure out where the market is going and then try to time the market. Optimism bias has to have an opportunity to kick in, right? And that's only when we make subjective decisions. That's when it kicks in. So the more you can eliminate those and go on autopilot, so to speak, the better off you will be in making investment decisions.
Professor Flubier is also, incidentally, a strong advocate of indexing. Using passive funds, he says, limits the danger of being tripped up by optimism bias, either your own or other people's.